Handy Quacks is just a winner. He knows how to win. He got a great game out of Drew Brees at 34 fantasy points, and he's off to a good start. Amber Alerts beat Iron Dogs 134-83. That was another game that went into the Monday night game, and Tom Brady just went absolutely apeshit. 42 fantasy points, 4 touchdowns, over 500 yards. I don't know. Maybe we should ask the guards, especially Coach Ironman, if Tom Brady should retire, as I believe they said it last year. I think they said he just wasn't on top of his game anymore. He didn't have what he used to be. Pretty sure Brady's okay. Brutal Deluxe beat Negro Damas 107-98. It was a pretty tough game, and as I'm looking at the Gamecast, I just happened to see that Coach Phil Tamulus has outdone himself. He just updated his team logo. It used to be Donovan McNabb with a really ridiculous face, and now I think it's Michael Jackson with an even more ridiculous face. If you haven't already seen it, take a look. It may make yourself shit. But anyway, Brutal beat Negroes in a pretty close game, but Brutal won. And then Bubba Gump Shrimp, he beat his boyfriend, Coach Tavaleri. I believe they're still seeing each other sexually. 159-96. Coach Bob just got a great game out of a bunch of players. LaShawn McCoy, Stafford, Miles Austin, Steve Smith, Baltimore defense, 159 points, most points scored in the league for week 1. And then Hong Kong beat the Rockdalian Senators. Senators had Ray Rice have a really great game, put up 26 points against Pittsburgh's defense. It's funny, he only put 6 points up total last year against the 2 games that he played against the Steelers. But anyway, I'm not bitter. Hong Kong gets that first victory, which he was desperately in need for in week 1. So there you have it. That was last week's results. And now we're going to quickly take a look at the Pick'em standings. It looks like Coach Will DeYoung, he did do something right this week. He picked 5 of the 6 correct winners, so he's jumped out on top in the Pick'em standings. Obviously, with it being very early, everyone else is right behind him. A bunch of people got 4, a bunch of people got 3 right, but Coach Will is on top to begin. And next segment, we're going to go ahead and dip into and take a look at the Dynasty Power Rankings.
The Power Rankings. Hey, who's number 1? Hey, who's second ass? The Dynasty Power Rankings.
Now, as a distinguished Dynasty Power Rankings member, I do have to admit that it is a little bit difficult to really rank the teams this early in the season. We're really going off of, the draft and, the players that they have and how you think they'll be, and 1 week, one game. It's hard to really power rank the teams this early, but the Power Rankings Association, we do our best, and we have a method to our madness, and we did come up with what we feel is a good early season power ranking. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Number 1 team, Bubba Gump Shrimp. Scored the most points in week 1. He clearly has a very good team based upon his players. 3 of the 5 power ranking members did vote him number 1. I personally voted him number 1. He's also an extremely good 4-square player. But yeah, he's number 1. Number 2, Johnny C, the Amber Alerts. He came out of the draft as the number 2 team in the power rankings. He remains at number 2 after week 1, after a very good showing in week 1. Number 3, Handy Quacks, reigning champion. We probably should have ranked him higher coming out of the draft, considering you really got to beat the champion first before you can even look forward. I don't know what that means, but he was ranked 6th coming out of the draft. He's now 3rd. Number 4, Hong Kong Cavs. He did drop from the number 1 team. He's now at number 4. A certain South African member of the Power Rankings voted him extremely, which I personally don't understand, but he's at number 4. Riverdale Scoopers, Brutal Deluxe tied at number 5. You got the Hunters at 7, Negroes at 8, Peril at 9. Soul Glow came out of he was ranked last coming out of the draft, but he put up enough points to get out of the basement. He's now at 10. The Iron Dogs at 11. They didn't look very good. I'm not gonna lie. They didn't look good in week 1, but still a lot of season left. And then the Rockdalian Senators had the lowest points scored in the league. They're right now at the bottom. They're right there at the bottom. They got to prove themselves. They got to stop fucking around, and they need to prove themselves to the power rankings. God damn it. Anywho, before I have a massive stroke, our next segment is going to be we're going to take a look at next week's results.
Now, let's take a look into the future with next week's matchups.
I believe just a few moments ago, I stated that we're going to look at next week's results, which clearly makes absolutely no sense. What I meant to say was we're going to look at next week's matchups. So, as we look at next week's matchups, the game of the week, which was voted upon by the Power Rankings Association, is the 1-0 Hong Kong Cavs versus the 1-0 Bubba Gump Shrimp. Both are, as of right now, in the top 4 in the Power Rankings. They're both in the Southern Division. They look to be definitely in contention for this season. So that looks to be the marquee matchup for this week. Additionally, Soul Glow is going to be taking on Brutal Deluxe. Certainly a little bit of a rivalry between those two coaches. I happen to know from personal experience that Coach Tav and Coach McDowell definitely like to beat each other. And Soul Glow is 2-0 against Brutal, so Coach McDowell will certainly like to get that first victory against Soul Glow's franchise. Additionally, we got the Senators against Negroes. We got a Rockdalian, a true Rockdalian versus a full-blooded Linwoodite. Another bit of a rivalry game. Both are 0-1. Neither one want to fall to 0-2. It would be the goddamn kiss of death in the Dynasty, the Jumbo Donuts Dynasty. Speaking of Jumbo Donuts, I hope you all make your way over to Linwood Ave and get yourself a tasty Dunkin' Donut. Wow, I just pulled a Coach Zach there. I just said Dunkin' Donuts, didn't I? Oh boy, we're gonna get sued. Jumbo Donuts. Anywho, Amber Alerts are going against the Heritage Park Hunters. Hunters wants to get that first victory, and Alerts is looking to continue their early season winning streak. And then you got Yellow Peril versus the Iron Dogs. Both are 0-1. Both want to get that first victory. Both do not want to drop to 0-2. It's a tough hole to get out of. Final game, North Riverdale Division. You got the Riverdale Scoopers against the Handy Quacks. Always a good matchup between these two teams. Scoopers obviously came into the season behind the 8 ball, but they got that first win in week 1. Handy Quacks got that first win in week 1. This looks to be another good game. We'll see how it plays out. And that wraps up talking about this upcoming week's matchups. Moving forward here, we actually have someone on the phone, a man who needs no introduction. He is the winningest coach in Dynasty history as of right now. He is a man who won the Dynasty Championship last year, Mr. Coach Zach Palucha of Handy Quacks. Coach, thanks for joining us here today.
Good to be here, Scoop. How are you?
I'm doing just great, thank you. We're breaking the history right now, and you're actually the first coach to ever be on the Dynasty Podcast. How does it feel?
It feels great. As the reigning champion, I feel like I deserve it, and it's good to be number 1.
Yes, it is. I'm sure. I wouldn't know, but I'm sure it does feel great to be number 1. And speaking about being number 1, I'd like to actually talk to you a little bit about Dynasty Bowl 7 last year. It must have been quite the time for you. You beat the Guard Dogs, and I guess we're just wondering, how did it feel to win the Dynasty Bowl and win the Dynasty Championship?